Now at 5, voters in Oklahoma hit the polls for primary elections, plus a groundbreaking ceremony for a senior living facility in Carthage. And
a committee investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol schedules a surprise hearing. I'm Natalie Brandt with who has been called to testify.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
It's primary election day in Oklahoma and voter turnout is steady. This is KOIM News at 5. This primary marks the first statewide election since the general election in 2020. There are more than 10 polling places in Miami alone. To win a primary in the state, a candidate must receive an outright majority of the vote.
Primaries are important because you have to have a way to sift out the best candidate for each party to present to the general election. So not only will we have a primary today, it's in all likelihood we'll have a runoff.
Polls close tonight at 7, and we're going to have election results tonight on KOIM News and on our website. There will soon be a new senior living facility in Carthage. NBL Development hosted a groundbreaking along with the city and Chamber of Commerce for the future Carthage Senior Villas Phase 2. Construction is expected to finish next summer. It'll consist of 38 two-bedroom units and a community building.
There's a real big need within your county for senior housing, 62 and above. There's a 63% chance that most seniors will need additional housing. So it's a real big need in this county because of demographics.
The facility will be at the northwest corner of Fur and Chapel Roads. High school kids from 21 Missouri counties visited Joplin for an extra special field trip. KCU Medical School hosted the Missouri AHEC Science and Health MASH Camp. KCU faculty led activities, demonstrations, and tours throughout campus. Demonstrations included dental saliva tests, dissections, and osteopathic manipulative treatment.
With these high school students, it's great because they're getting into it, and I have the ability to jump in and help increase their motivation, give them encouragement, and help them grow into a medical career hopefully someday.
The Missouri American Health Care Education Center provides community outreach to all area high schools and pre-health professions programs. Weather not too bad out there. Let's check in with Doug.
No, it turned out to be another fantastic day for us today. We are slowly warming up, but we don't have the humidity, so it actually feels pretty good across the region. Plenty of sunshine. We're going to have clear skies as we go through the evening hours. Nothing really going on here. You have to travel south before you find any showers or thunderstorms down across parts of Texas, but a little bit warmer. Most of us are sitting mid to upper 80s, but we don't have a heat index. You can see our heat indices are about the same, actually a little bit lower than what our actual temperature is, and that's due to the humidity being so low. We'll slide back through the 80s, 70s, all the way back down near 60 for us tonight. So another wonderful night across the region. Now, it does start to heat up a little bit. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
Catch you then. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on our U.S. Capitol scheduled a surprise hearing today. Reporter Natalie Brandt has details from Capitol Hill.
In a last-minute surprise hearing before the January 6th committee, the aide to former President Trump's White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said Mr. Meadows hinted about potential problems before the January 6th rally.
He didn't look up from his phone and said something to the effect of, "There's a lot going on, Cass, but I don't know, things might get real bad on January 6th.
Cassidy Hutchinson said Mr. Trump's former personal attorney Rudy Giuliani boasted about plans in the days before the 6th.
He had responded something to the effect of, "We're going to the Capitol. It's going to be great. The president's going to be there. He's going to look powerful."
And she said she heard Giuliani mentioning right-wing groups before the rally.
I recall hearing the word Oath Keeper and hearing the word Proud Boys closer to the planning of the January 6th rally when Mr. Giuliani would be around.
Hutchinson also said former President Trump was furious that Secret Service metal detectors kept some of his supporters outside of the official rally on January 6th.
I overheard the president say something to the effect of, I don't effing care that they have weapons. they're not here to hurt me. Take the effing mags away. Let my people in. They can march to the Capitol from here.
While Congress conducts its January 6th investigation, the U.S. Justice Department is also continuing to look into potential crimes surrounding the events of that day.
New court filings show the FBI seized a cell phone from conservative attorney John Eastman as he was leaving a New Mexico restaurant last Wednesday.
It authorizes them to seize my phone and all the information contained in the phone. But there's no indication of any crime that this is connected to.
The Select Committee says Eastman authored an illegal plot to replace electors that President Biden had won in key battleground states with electors loyal to Trump and stop the certification of the 2020 electoral votes on January 6th. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The same day the FBI seized Eastman's phone, they also conducted a raid on the home of Jeffrey Clark, a former Justice Department official who President Trump sought to appoint as acting attorney general because he was open to declaring the election results invalid in some key states. Ghislaine Maxwell today was sentenced to 20 years in prison by a Manhattan federal court. She was convicted of helping Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse underage girls between 1994 and 2004. Maxwell delivered her own statement saying she empathized with the victims, adding that Epstein fooled all of those in his orbit. Still ahead, a look at the growing trend of traveling to off-the-grid locations. And next in Health Watch, some tips to protect your hearing if you plan to light up some fireworks this 4th of July. Topping today's Health Watch, scientists in Japan are honing in on a mysterious COVID-19 side effect, its ability to interrupt the body's metabolism and even trigger diabetes in some people. A team at Osaka University traced the cause to a specific gene involved in insulin production. In a study published in Metabolism, they say genetic testing could help treat the disease by identifying the most vulnerable patients. We know it's important to take precautions to be safe around fireworks, especially if you're actually handling them, but experts say it's also critical to protect your hearing around fireworks this summer. Reporter Stephanie Stahl has more.
Plenty of Americans will attend fireworks displays this summer, and the American Academy of Audiology says we need to listen up and protect our hearing from loud noises. The group says the greatest risk is not the professional fireworks displays, but from the fireworks people use themselves in backyards. If a firework is close to you when it explodes, you could suffer immediate and permanent hearing damage. The inner ear has delicate hair cells, which do not grow back. If noise damages the cells, the result may be forever. Hearing loss can be due to aging and other factors, but exposure to loud noises is also a leading cause. More than 40 million Americans have hearing loss, 10 million related to loud noise. Signs can include hearing ringing, buzzing, or hissing noises after exposure to fireworks, or muffled hearing and having to turn up volume on devices suddenly. Other signs include having trouble understanding people speaking and people telling you speak too loudly. If that sounds familiar, audiologists say, get your hearing checked. I'm Stephanie Stahl, CBS News, Philadelphia.
The group says children are especially vulnerable to hearing loss from fireworks because they get excited and want to be close to the activities, so be sure to keep those kids at a safe distance. People tend to become friends with people who smell like them. Yeah, and that's the finding of a study published in the journal Science Advances. Researchers in Israel used computers to analyze the body odors of a group of strangers. Using the smells data, they were able to accurately predict which ones would hit it off when they were introduced. The researchers say it suggests humans rely on their nose to help them make social decisions. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, what scientists say is behind these recent heat waves around the globe.
Plus, our temperatures warming up a bit over the next few days. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a good day for us today. Temperatures fantastic as we went into the mid-80s for afternoon highs. We've had some really nice weather over about the past 3 or 4 days. However, of course, it's summertime. We're going to start to heat things slowly back up. But look at it right now. It looks great. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, we haven't had a lot of rain. We got a little bit over the weekend. So this is our drought tracker, and you can see central and western Kansas, they're in trouble. But most of eastern Kansas drying out a little bit, southeastern Kansas. But as of right now, for the farmers, we're okay drought-wise, but it would be nice to get a little bit of rain in here. Look at our temps, mid to upper 80s. We don't have much humidity, so when you don't have any humidity, it warms up very quickly and very easily, but we don't have that mugginess in the air. In fact, these are our dew points. Look at this. We're setting 50 to about 55 degrees. So if you look on our scale, we're in that refreshing to pleasant range. This is slowly going to creep up as we go through the next few days. Outside right now, it looks great, sitting at 87. North winds at about 5. Look at our humidity. It's at 29%. Through the evening hours, we slide back through the 80s, 70s, 60s. Another wonderful night, right around 60 degrees for an overnight low. Nothing going on here. In fact, we got clear skies and really clear skies across the entire Central Plains until you find a few showers, southern parts of Oklahoma, northern parts of Texas. There is a little bit of tropical moisture, so we're going to watch this and we're going to watch our next wave and see if those two can combine and give us some scattered showers and thunderstorms down the road by the time we head into the weekend. Until then, I think we're mainly dry. Let's go hour by hour. We're going to stop at 6 a.m. Look at our temps, right around 60 degrees. We warm through the 60s, 70s, mid 80s by the noon hour. As we go into the afternoon, right about 90. So 90s do return, but again, the humidity is going to be low. 61 to start, 85 by noon, high of 90, southerly winds light. So yeah, it's hot. It's just not going to feel real muggy and sticky across the region. Back into the mid 60s for overnight lows tomorrow night. As we go into Thursday, again, sunny skies, a little bit hotter as we go into the lower 90s for afternoon highs. Humidity wise, look at our heat indices, about the same as our temperature tomorrow, so that's good. We don't have the mugginess. They do creep back up a little bit, so it's going to feel like mid 90s by the time we head into Thursday afternoon. 90 tomorrow, 93 Thursday, on Friday, 95 degrees. Now, of course, we're heading into the holiday weekend, and we are going to start to get chances for scattered thunderstorms. Here's Friday, heading into Saturday, a chance for a few scattered thunderstorms. Sunday, same. On the holiday itself, I think the better chances for rain are mainly going to be to our north, but it is going to be hot, mid-90s. We could use a little bit of rain, but if you do have outdoor activities this weekend, which most people do, these are going to be hit and miss storms, so don't really worry about those rain chances.
Yeah, unless it hits.
Yeah, we would.
If it misses, that's good.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a hit.
Yeah, in advance of these celebrations. Yes. Thanks, Doug. Summers around the world are getting hotter, a lot hotter, and scientists say climate change is to blame. A new study says it's also no coincidence extreme weather events are on the rise. Reporter Ian Lee has more.
The mercury is rising around the world. Japan is suffering its worst heat wave in 150 years, with Tokyo sizzling under scorching temperatures topping 96 degrees.
Worldwide, people are worried about this whole climate change situation.
Scientists say climate change is the culprit for the wild weather.
All heat waves across the world have been made more intense and more likely by climate change.
A new global study reveals heat waves are increasing in severity and frequency. In April, temperatures in India soared above 120 degrees.
We have heat waves in Europe, and we have heat waves in Saudi Arabia at the moment. We have heat waves in China right now. We have heat waves in the US.
And it's not just extreme heat. Climate change is also triggering disastrous downpours. The worst flooding in more than a century is hitting Bangladesh, killing dozens.
But we have seen across the world a lot of serious and very damaging floods become more likely due to climate change.
The U.S. hasn't been spared either, with extreme heat and drought fueling massive wildfires in parts of the country and historic flooding swamping Yellowstone earlier this month. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
G7 leaders meeting in Germany this week have agreed to create a climate club by the end of the year for nations looking to take more ambitious action to tackle global warming. Coming up, the city of Miami raises some utility rates. First, though, we honor a local veteran. George Geiger served in the U.S. Army from 1944 to 1946. The Irwin, Missouri native was stationed in the Philippines, and we salute Sergeant George Geiger, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, some Oklahoma residents will pay more for their utility bills. The city of Miami is raising its electric rates for customers. The increases stem from rising natural gas prices. Those prices mean the GRDA is raising its energy rates, and the city gets its power supply from the GRDA, so the city is also raising rates. The popularity of going off the grid while traveling increased before the pandemic, but has intensified since. More Americans want to disconnect from virtual life and connect with those who really matter. Wendy Gillette reports on the trend from the Amazon in Brazil.
These are the sounds of the Amazon. A few hours after leaving the city of Manaus in northwest Brazil on a rainforest cruise, we're aboard Amazon Nature Tours Motor Yacht Tucano for a reduced rate. There's no cell phone service or Wi-Fi for most of the trip, which takes up to 16 passengers out for as long as a week.
Very first reaction is shock and concern, soon followed by deep relief. And people really enjoy having an opportunity to disconnect.
A recent survey by the luxury network Virtuoso found 92% of travel advisors say their clients are bringing health, wellness, and self-care into their trips this year. And 29% prioritize digital detoxing, even more than diet programs or beauty treatments.
They begin to appreciate more external things instead of simply, the internal echo that we all suffer with.
The Amazon trip takes unplugged travelers on guided excursions deep into the rainforest. Whoa! There's fishing for piranhas. Can I touch it? Yeah. Which become the night's main course. Amazon! There's also the opportunity to take a dip in the Rio Negro River, the largest blackwater river in the world. You don't have to trek somewhere as exotic as the Amazon to take a break from technology.
You can make any trip a digital detox, whether it's close to home or far away. All you have to do is turn off your electronic devices and make the commitment to separate from the world.
And whether you're choosing the digital detox or it's imposed by the remote location, the idea is to return renewed with a clearer perspective. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, the Amazon, Brazil.
There are dozens of eco-lodges and cruises in the Brazilian Amazon. Cruises with Amazon Nature Tours start at just over $3,000. A record number of Americans are expected to hit the roads this holiday weekend. That's according to the annual 4th of July travel forecast from AAA. The automotive group is predicting 42 million Americans will take a road trip 50 miles or farther for the 4th of July holiday weekend, not necessarily all the way to the Amazon. Travel experts recommend anyone traveling on Thursday or Friday should start driving early or late in the day. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, an interview with First Lady Jill Biden on the Supreme Court ruling to overturn Roe v. Wade. Then on KOIM News at 6, we're going to have more on the importance of primary elections as voters in Oklahoma cast their ballots. Plus, some protesters gather in Joplin to show support for abortion rights. And new details are released on yesterday's deadly Amtrak derailment in northern Missouri. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOIM News at 6. You get weather like this in late June in the 4 states, you can't really complain.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Get outside, enjoy the evening. Temperatures are going to be fantastic as we drop back through the 80s and 70s, down to about 60 tonight. Now, 90s return tomorrow. The humidity is still going to be fairly low. Enjoy it because it will start to kick back in by the time we head into the holiday weekend.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOIM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.